Welcome to the Better Off Bonus Call of the Week. We're sponsored by Betterment, the largest independent online financial advisor. Now, don't forget, 2 chances every week to get on the air. Tuesdays, we do this bonus call. And then, of course, after our longer interview on Thursdays, we have the listener question. Just get in touch with us. It's very easy. Send us an email, askjill@betteroffpodcast.com. askjill@betteroffpodcast.com. That's what our old friend Jeff did. Jeff, explain to everybody why we're old friends.
When I had some financial questions about retirement about 5 years ago, you were kind enough to help me out. And now I'm in another point in my life where I thought I could maybe use a little more of your advice.
I love it. It feels like I've been with you now for many years, so that's kind of fabulous. And I'm wondering, since that time, how did you find kind of navigating your financial life? You haven't been in touch for a few years. So what was going on at that time, and what has changed now, and why do you need our help?
It's been mostly good. And when I called you, it was because my wife and I were both moving to start new jobs, and we had to make some decisions about retirement savings, enrolling in new plans. Since then, I haven't needed advice exactly because it's been pretty clear that we needed to use any extra income to pay off the debts we'd accrued from moving around for school, for jobs, stuff like that. So actually, it's in the 5 years since I talked to you, we were able to pay off the $56,000 or so debt we had in credit cards, and take my wife's student loan money from law school down from about $200,000 to about $98,000.
Wow. Man, that is like some serious progress, dude. Really?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, thanks.
All right. So what is it that's going on right now that requires my assistance?
Well, now that we have paid off that debt, the credit card debt and all that, we and have a decent, emergency fund. It looks like we probably have about $600 to $800 a month or so extra that we could be putting into some sort of savings or retirement or some sort of other plan. Mm-hmm. And I just wasn't sure what the best way to go about it was.
So just so I'm clear, your wife still has almost $100,000 in debt, right?
Yes.
And what is the interest rate on that debt?
It's all at 3.25% or less.
Wow. Okay. And so, and how much are you guys making together at this point?
About $227,000 a year.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are our options in terms of where this $600 or $800 a month could go? What are you considering?
I'm leaning towards the trying to max out my wife's pre-tax retirement savings. 2 reasons. Obviously, that's less tax that we have to pay each year. And then combined with part of why we've been able to make so much progress on the student loans is that her law school provides a loan forgiveness program where they basically just require you to pay 25% of your income over $60,000 towards your loan repayment, and then they make up the difference for you.
That sounds like a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, the idea is to allow the students to go into whatever job they want, whether it's public service, whatever, and not worry about their income.
So, man, that's a pretty great.
Yeah, that's the huge bonus.
What is the retirement plan that she has access to right now?
So it's through TIA CREF,
mm-hmm.
And we do the standard, you contribute your 5%, and our university matches and puts in 9.29.
Mm-hmm.
So if she wants to add to that to get up to the max, the 18.5 per year, it will require opening either a 403B or a 457B plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the 403B is the default, but you have your choice.
And you said she's putting away about how much, 5% now?
Yeah, we both do the 5% to get our company match. That was the no-brainer when we talked to you 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're like, okay, we're finally in a place where we think we can start putting away some more money.
And I think that this is probably the best idea for you. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that, first of all, I think that it is a good thing that, you're sort of clicking away and paying down the debt. You kind of have your arms around it. But this loan forgiveness part is really interesting. So I think that if you could really reduce that income for her, it helps with the student loan pay down and that program. And TIAA CREF is a very good plan. How old are you guys now?
We are both 37.
Okay. And how are you currently invested in the TIAA-CREF plan?
Yeah, that's one thing we talked about a little bit 5 years ago. We ended up going with one of the life cycle funds. That way we could just set it and forget it sort of thing and not
Sure.
have to worry too much.
Yep. And how much money is in the plan for each of you right now?
The retirement plan total is about $209,000.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think you've graduated from the life cycle index funds. I think that, the target date funds, they're fine. They totally are fine. But I feel like one of the things that's really great is you've got this money. You were kind enough to send me the investment strategies that you have available to you for this plan. First of all, there is an institutional index fund that you have available to you, the Vanguard Institutional Index from the stock side. I think that's a really good, that as well as the extended market index are pretty much like a big, broad U.S. market index. If you looked inside of your lifestyle fund and you said what percentage is in stocks, bonds, cash, that's basically what we're going to do, but outside of the lifestyle fund and instead use the funds that are available. So I think that the ones that you would look at would be the institutional index or the extended market index. Doesn't really matter to me. Either one is fine. Then I would use there is an emerging market fund it's going to be very volatile, but you know what? I don't care. I think you could totally do that. And just like 5 or 10% in there. There's an international one. So I might do let's say I did 10% in the international, 10% in the extended market, 40% in a U.S. index. And then you've got something called the Vanguard Total Bond Market Index. You could put some in there. You also have something that's interesting in that you have a TIAA side of your equation that is called TIAA Traditional. You could also do your bond investing in there. That tends to have a higher interest rate. But you ready? The one thing that's important about that is that you don't have the ability to move in and out of that. There are some limitations as to where you can put that money. So you may not want to do that. I just put it out there as a possibility. The other ones are more expensive, so I'm not that interested in them. But essentially, you're young, so you probably want to have something like a 70-30 split-ish, 70 stocks, 30 bonds. And of the 70, half of it being U.S. equities and 20% or so being international and emerging, and not making it yourself too crazy. There's no particular reason why I would say, put money in your REIT fund right this second. I would just kind of keep this simple right now. And you could tell me to go screw and say, you know what, Jill, we're going to just stay in the life cycle fund. It's easier. We don't want to deal with that. Reason why the TIAA-CREF life cycle funds are interesting to me is that they are very low cost. But, generally, when you have a little bit more money, when you have more than $100,000 that's invested, it seems time to kind of graduate. But there are plenty of people who just will pick the life cycle anyway. So if you don't want to deal with it, I'm fine with you staying in life cycle. If you do want to deal with it, there are some really good options within your choices.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, that's part of why we went with the life cycle, because I remember when we talked 5 years ago, we talked about how they can be really good for some people, but sometimes the expense is high. Unfortunately, with TIAA-CREF, they're not that high. But looking at the ones that you just mentioned, those expenses are even lower. So,
yeah, I mean,
use that magic of compound interest and saving,
I think that will work. And when you're done with this process of, say, having the $600 or $800 a month extra go into the account, if you do find that you still have extra money, if there's, because maybe you're both making more money, the other thing to consider is, where else do I go with this? And that probably would lead me. Do you guys have kids?
No, not yet.
So there's not a college funding thing. I mean, you could always just pay the taxes and open an investment account. The only other thing I should ask is this. In your wife's plans, do you have a Roth option as well?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna call the the advice line and check on that, because I've definitely heard some of your callers, as soon as they say that their retirement plan includes a Roth option, you definitely light up. So I know that's a good plan to get into.
Yeah, it is. Except that, remember, we're trying to reduce your wife's taxable income, and I do get that. And there is that piece of it about the loan forgiveness that adds a layer on it. But maybe that's something you could consider once the student loan is gone. It sounds like you're paying that loan down pretty quickly.
Yeah. The forgiveness plan helps us for another 2 years. And even if we're not fully done then, we're in a payment plan where we're definitely done with it all in a little less than 5 years, about 4.5 years.
That's
so
awesome.
We're feeling good about that.
All right, great. And you guys, you own a house, or are you renting? What are you doing right now?
We rent a townhouse right now.
And do you think you want to buy, or what's your idea?
I think so. Probably. It's one of those things I go back and forth on. It's so nice to just call the agency if something bad happens. But I think long term, that might be another thing, is putting away some money for the down payment.
Yeah. I mean, let's see how things progress. If you feel like you're getting closer to buying a house, then I would say, as you have more money coming in the door, you want to make sure that you siphon some of that off and put it in the house fund. But it sounds like you guys are doing so great. I feel like when you call me in 5 years from now, because we're on a every 5-year basis now, that you're going to be like rocking and rolling, debt free, saving tons of money. And I don't know what else is going to be happening, but you're in great shape. You've done a tremendous job.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you so much for checking back in with us, and get that money into the TIAA CREF account.
I will do. Thanks for your help.
Take care. Good luck.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, that's a wrap of our Better Off bonus question of the week. If you've got a question, it's simple. Send us an email at askjill@betteroffpodcast.com. We'll arrange to get you on. And don't forget, in just a couple of days, there's a brand new episode of the Better Off Podcast, sponsored by Betterment. Talk to you then.